Hey Lowco sports fans, we're teaming up with our friends at the Country Kids Foundation to spread the word about a great opportunity for young baseball players in the Lowco this Saturday, January 7th. The Country Kids Foundation will hold its 4th annual Major League Skills Instinct Camp at Volunteer Park in Ridgeland, behind the old high school and the beautifully renovated football stadium. It gives kids from age 5 through 18 an opportunity to sharpen their skills with instruction led by former Los Angeles Dodger Gary Ingram. It's just $35 and you can register on site. But if you want to make sure you get a t-shirt in your size, call Pam at 843-350-2100 and get pre-registered. We'll see you on the diamond. Go Lowco! This is the Lowco Sports Lowdown Podcast. Here are your hosts, Justin Jarrett and Wes Kerr.
Okay, Lowco sports fans, welcome to another edition of the Lowco Sports Lowdown. I am Justin Jarrett. Can't even say my name today. Joined as always by Wes Kerr, and it feels like it's been a while since we've gotten a lowdown together. Wes, we've been scrambling around covering state championship football games and trying to get up to speed on high school basketball season and wrestling season. It's been a very busy time here, but here we are to kind of get caught up on all the big picture stuff here with the Lowco Lowdown. And we'll also have an interview later on in the show that you had with Sean Cusano, who's kind of the man of the moment right now. It's good timing because last night, we're recording on Friday afternoon. Thursday night in Savannah, that dude went nuts for 32 points on 13 of 15 shooting. Really impressive performance from him against Woodville Tompkins, and he's off to a great start this season and really going to be, having a tremendous senior year. Looking forward to seeing what he can do at the next level, but a lot of work to still be done here in high school. But we've also got some, housekeeping business with some high school football news, some all-state teams, as well as the All-Star games taking place, some commitments rather, as well as some guys in the portal, and then we'll get caught up a little bit on what's happening this winter with wrestling and basketball and our teams of the week. But how are you doing, Wes? I've been scrambling. I'm kind of wearing down here as we head into the holidays, ready for a little R&R, a little break. So I'm sure you're feeling the same. It's been a wild ride, but man, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm doing great. What an awesome last few weeks it's been here at Lowco Sports. We've been waiting a while to crown a South Carolina High School League football state champion. It has certainly been a while, but the wait is over because the first time since 1945 we had country state champion, the South Carolina High School League. The Buford Eagles come back from behind 14 points down to defeat Pattersville 41-31 to claim that state title. And that's just, this whole game really exemplifies the whole season of the Eagles' determination that we saw really all year long, all postseason long. Never out of the game, just dug deep to keep fighting, and the talent just took over down the stretch at Benedict College on Thursday a couple weeks ago. But that might be one of the greatest rushing offenses that we have ever seen here in the Lowco, with Casey Fields and Colton Ferris. That senior duo combined for, I believe, over 400 rushing yards in that state championship game. The Eagles won without attempting a single pass play, which is just unheard of these days in the state championship. Just incredible stuff, and it really just speaks to the hard work of these kids and the greatness that we've seen from Bryce Librand, getting the most out of those players. And Fields and Ferris, absolute juggernauts at running back, and then that defense, which was just sensational, truly an 11-man unit that did all the little things right, making tackles, being at the right place at the right time, creating pressure, real dominance at all levels. And they made adjustments so well. They were never rattled when they were down behind, even in that state title clash. And they've been there before, and they displayed that heart of a champion that carried them all the way back to the state title game after falling short that tough loss to South Point. They just came hungrier and ready to go, and really just matched the energy that they saw from South Point a year ago. And they shut down a very, very good Pattersville team in that fourth quarter to get the win. Just a masterful job all the way around from Bryce Librand and this football team. And just, really sad that we won't get to see this team play again. What an unbelievable story. What a group of young men, and Bryce Librand, a special coach. And those are the moments. These are the stories that we will remember. And I hope we'll be able to document this team in the future and find a way to preserve these stories forever, because this was a historic team and a historic moment in the story of Lowcountry football.
Yeah, it really was. And I mean, we're a couple weeks removed now, and I think you and I are both still kind of like, juiced from it. Like every time we talk about it, we get a little juice. Like it was really awesome. It was a special team, like you said, and they were on kind of a magical run. It had that kind of team of destiny type feel at times where, especially that Crestwood game, man. I mean, they were down for the count, and then just in a flash, they were back on top. And that was just a championship caliber response, and they continued to do it over and over again. And actually, Jack Sumner, one of the guys that we've really loved to watch this year and his development and growth, his dad reached out to me and said, you guys talk about the kids not panicking. It's because they had so much confidence in the coaching staff that they had a plan. And I think we kind of said that on the show, the recap show, that there was just never any panic there because it wasn't an option. They were always under control. It was always, it's okay. We're moving forward. We still got this. We still got this. And that becomes like a mantra and a mentality that is just part of you. You stay even keeled. And, you saw that from them all season long. Even the season didn't start great. I mean, they lost to Fort Dorchester, which was expected, but then the offense kind of stalled a little bit, and they only scored 6 points against Goose Creek, and they were kind of struggling to get it going. And but they weren't worried. I mean, who cares that we lost to Fort Dorchester? Like they knew they had that perspective of it's a long season. These games do not matter in the long run. We are figuring things out as we go. And they were really able to be a super versatile team that could adjust to whatever they needed to be. And I thought that was really the biggest hallmark of that team, was just the versatility. I mean, it didn't matter who was out, didn't matter who went down with an injury. There was somebody who could step in and fill the role and do the job well enough. It was a team effort. Everybody has a role, everybody has a job, and as long as we all do our part, it's going to work out. Trust the process type thing. And I mean, you just saw it all year long, and it paid off in the end. And it was a really fun thing to cover. And I'm like you, I want to write a book or something. Like I want to really drill down and capture all the little nuance of this incredible team and what made it special. So I think we've done that in bits and pieces, but hopefully we can bring it all together into something kind of commemorative that we can all rally around and remember it by. So it was tremendous, but we certainly have a lot, kind of tangential to that to celebrate too, with all state teams and stuff coming out. And of course, Beaufort had some representation on there, although I thought they were kind of underrepresented. Colton Ferris and Casey Fields being the only guys, and nobody being an honorable mention off that offensive line was insane to me. But I always say it's hard to do. You have to take somebody off to put somebody on, and I don't know those guys around the state well enough to know how they stack up. But I know Hart Cushman was a pretty dang good center, and that was the best offensive line collectively in the state. So I was surprised nobody was on there. But I know you've got the list in front of you, Wes. Run down our all-state selections here, and we'll say a few words about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is the most representation from the Lowco we've ever had on this all-state list, and really fantastic season for area standouts. 9 making the list, and a couple more are in honorable mention recognition. And of course, it's all led by the star-studded duo at Beaufort High, Casey Fields and Colton Ferris, who led that unstoppable rushing attack I was just talking about early on in the show. And I mean, I'm still blown away by what Casey did this year. I mean, he didn't even start the season at running back, and then 2,230 yards and 32 touchdowns later, he's a state champion and just really one of the most talented and prolific backs in the state now. I mean, that burst of speed that he had this year, I mean, was just insane. I mean, if you couldn't get him at the point of the attack, he was gone. He was gone to the house. And, the same could be said for Colton Ferris. I mean, uber athletic specimen, making impacts in all 3 phases. Just a magician out there on the football field, and just the ability to evade tacklers and then clean up on the defensive side. And if you saw that punt return against Gilbert in the playoffs, I mean, you broke down that entire play. I mean, that wrestling background's enormous, and growing those skill sets to break those tackles and have that balance to just keep going on the field and turn it up all the way to the end zone. And I mean, that hunger and competitiveness out there on the field. I mean, Casey really was the catalyst, I thought, of that offense. But, I think Colton really, his play in all three phases, I think was what put Buford over the top and added the extra dimension in the run game, too. So, I mean, obviously, two slam dunk selections there with Ferris and Fields. And then over the May River, Jaden Jones and Darian Perry. Jaden Jones, a workhorse back for the Sharks, also an excellent linebacker, really hard-nosed player, 1,200-yard rusher, 23 tackles and 3 sacks. And then Darian Perry, really an anchor in that secondary for that May River side, prolific in the run game as well. He kind of spelled Jones when he wasn't in the backfield, and a really explosive player on that squad. And then Hilton Head, not one but two honorees, Chris Marable, the beastly defensive lineman on his way to play at Wake Forest. He's actually going to sign on Wednesday morning at 8:30. I'll be there to cover that. Really excited to see Marable put pen to paper. He will play in the Shrine Bowl this weekend on Saturday, so a big week coming up for him. Great size, strength on that line. He was huge stopping the run this year for the Seahawks. Just a really overpowering force that could just break through for big stops. And then Shike Thompson, great to see him on this list. He was kind of under the radar before this year, but what an impact that he made defensively, flying to the football, big time physical playmaker. 15 tackles for loss, terrific year for Thompson, and I believe he'll be back next year. So great to see Shike Thompson back on the field for the Seahawks, to be a big part of that BJ Payne-led defense. And then over in Bluffton, Jalen Linder, who has been he's been making all the headlines these days because he's obviously the Lowco's leading wide receiver, 1,276 receiving yards, 16 touchdowns. He added another at the North-South game this past weekend, and now he's going to be off to SC State to join forces with Rakim White. So two Bobcat studs over there on the field together. And what a terrific year for Linder. And then finally, two Wade Hampton stars, Zion Dobson and Mandrell Sanders. Two great picks, in my opinion. Dobson was a speed demon on the ground. It was really tough to stop once he got out in space. 1,000-yard rusher. He averaged more than 5 yards a carry. And Mandrell Sanders, really underrated defender. He saw the field really well. Great instincts over there and excellent closing speed. Really physical linebacker, 24 tackles for loss this past year. So, I mean, what a list of 9 area Lowco stars that really proved why they're some of the best in the state and all deserved winners of this recognition. And a few more that came close, so they earned honorable mention. May River's Michael Namdar, Thomas Reich, Adrian Gaston, Trevor Murdaugh, and Tanner Macy. So that's 5 more Sharks on that list. I definitely agree with you. I expect to see a lot more Bluffton Buford athletes on this list. I mean, you look at Hart Cushman, Jack Sumner, just to name a few. And definitely deserving of a lot more representation from such a deep team and such a talented team. But good to see 5 Aver Sharks. And then for Bluffton, Jeremiah Curry, Jaquin Williams, and Max von Hohenstraten. So a good representation there for the Bobcats. Excellent season from all 3 of those guys. What a linebacking duo that was, Curry and Jaquin Williams. And von Hohenstraten, a great year under center. At quarterback, Troy Timko, excellent year in the backfield for Hilton Head. Carter Salibi, really underrated player. And then Thomas May also earning honors for Hilton Head. And then Peyton Butler for Wade Hampton. So congratulations to all of those young men. It's always tough to decide these last few spots, but great to see them all get recognized. And I think the SCFCA did a great job here. I think they got it right. I think the standouts who deserve the honors were on this list. And, I wish Rice or Williams or some of those Buford players had made it on the final list, but, you got to take somebody off first. And this year's group was very, very deep across the state. But, the best thing is that we'll have our own opportunity to highlight our own stars with our All Lowco teams and keep an eye out for a very special All Lowco football show very soon.
Indeed, yeah. So, shout out to the SCFCA just for doing it. I mean, not every organization does it. It's meaningful. It means something for the coaches to vote you to the all-state team. So shout out to them for doing it. It's imperfect science, and you rely on nominations, and some coaches are far more liberal with nominations than others are, and some of them have real high standards, and they might not nominate very many guys because they don't feel like they had an all-state season. So it's a difficult thing to do, but and the logistics are brutal. But shout out to them for doing it. And the way I always looked at awards in journalism is the same way I look at them in athletics. Is it's great to win them, but at the end of the day, they are subjective. And so don't take it personally if you didn't win. Like that's someone's opinion. And just go prove them wrong. Just go do something bigger than they expected from you. But yeah, especially for the guys coming back, great to see some underclassmen on that list. Thompson is obviously going to be a big recruit. BJ Payne told us a couple of years ago he was going to be a guy, so we expect to see that. And then Dobson, I think he projects very well as a college back. You think of some of the undersized backs that have had success, even at Power Five schools, and I see him being that kind of guy. He's really good out of the backfield, catching the ball. He's lightning quick. He could help you in the return game. So I like him a lot. And then Sanders, he's a dog. He's a straight dog. So they're going to be a big part of what they're doing at Hampton County next year, and excited to see that. So congrats to all those guys. And then Ferris, you mentioned Linder with the touchdown grab in the touchdown cooperatives bowl, but Ferris had a big game too. Defensive MVP, had a bunch of tackles, like 8 solo tackles, I think, which is incredible in that caliber of game. And then you also mentioned Linder committing to SC State. Kamari Simmons, his teammate, a day later committed to the Naval Academy. So he'll accept an appointment to the Naval Academy, play for the midshipmen. And I just want to give a shout out to our guy, Kevin Brown, Go Graphics, Bluffton High School student, with some sick commitment videos that they dropped on social media. Really cool to see. We're going to keep working with Kevin and try to teach him some of the more formal skills that he needs to advance in his career. But man, he's a wizard with the camera and getting really good with the edits. So shout out to him as well as those guys making the college commitments.
Kevin's the man. He's doing a great job. So keep it up, buddy. Excited to see what he does in the future, and just awesome to see all these guys take the field one last time over in Myrtle Beach. Love that All-Star game, and how about putting a bow on a spectacular high school career for Colton Ferris, and winning the defensive MVP award for the South team. Just came up short to the North side, 22-14. How about Jalen Linder as well, catching a touchdown pass in the fourth quarter, which got the South team back in it. A terrific grab in the back of the end zone for Linder, who broke free from his coverage and made the catch. But he's really been such an improved player. And of course, we mentioned he'll be headed to the next level. What an opportunity for him. And just love to see him shine an all-star game like this. And, it just speaks to how much that he's improved this year. And, I think Hayden Gregory did a lot alongside Jared Karkoff. I think they were huge in taking his game to the next level and really instilling that confidence that, he had what it took to shine at the next level. And he did. And I just remember that Bridge Bowl in particular at Hilton Head in that weird Wednesday night game. But his guy, I think he really started to take off in that contest. And he carried that with him the rest of the way. And he found it next year to become more, I believe he had a pick on defense in overtime of that game. He contributed both ways. But that reliable pass catcher that can make things happen, not just that deep threat, but really an all-around strong offensive component, along with that go-to target downfield with his height and athleticism to win those 50-50 balls. And he certainly earned that opportunity to play at SC State, along with the former Lowco star, Rakim White. So we'll have 2 Bobcats lined up out wide for the Bulldogs, and what a great program that has become. Won the HBCU National Championship last year. Tough year in 2022. They went just 3-8, but I expect the future to be bright over there in Orangeburg. So congrats to Jalen. Not sure when he'll officially sign, but would love to make it out there and celebrate one of our most hardworking stars. And, I'm sure Hayden Gregory has got to be proud of what he's done as well. So congrats to Jalen, and excited to see him at SC State. Go be great young man, and be able to watch him play some hoops this weekend. 2 big games for Bluffton. They'll face Ridgeland and then Wade Hampton. So excited to cover that. But and then his teammate Kamari Simmons going D1 at the Naval Academy. Terrific honor for him. Simmons really always been that electric speedster the offensive Swiss Army knife on the field. A lot of potential for what the midshipman could get out of him. I imagine he maybe starts out as a special teams guy, but someone who can slide in a couple of different roles, potentially as a running back going forward. But what an opportunity to become a member, of one of the most storied football programs of all time. The Army-Navy game is one of the premier experiences in all of college football, and now he gets to be part of it. And I imagine that he has bigger aspirations beyond football too. And I mean, you got to have the grades to get in there. And he seems like a smart young man with an excellent work ethic and the drive to do amazing things on and off the field. So big accomplishment for both these young men, and it really speaks to Hayden Gregory and that coaching staff. And I think Bluffton has found an absolute gem with both Gregory and Kharkov, who have done a fantastic job and with their leadership and motivating these young men to become the best they can be and helping them achieve their dreams. And these two, both Linder and Simmons, are very much proof of that.
Yeah, I could not agree with you more. I mean, I think Hayden and Jared have done a terrific job in every aspect. But I mean, you saw from day one that they were excited about the athletes that they had here, and they believed that they could A, win with these guys, and B, sell these guys to colleges. And they've done a great job of that. And the guys have backed them up. They've gone out and performed and made them look good. Jalen Linder at South Carolina State, the sky's the limit. I mean, he's got the raw ability to be an NFL player, and it's just but a lot of people do. It's the question of whether he's got it within him to get it all out or not. I think it's a great place where he can do it. I think he's got a big brother there in Rakim who can, put his arm on his shoulder, and he's already been through a couple years, and he can guide him along the way. And they're already calling Rakim the next Shaq Davis, so maybe Jalen Linder's the next Rakim after that, and then you got a little pipeline going. I think with Kamari and Navy, that's a great fit for him. He is an athlete first and foremost. He's a track star. He's got D1 speed, and that's what they see. They see an athlete that they're going to bring in and make into a man, and then see where he best fits. Because you can envision him being a DB, a running back, a slot wide receiver, a return guy. There's a lot of different possibilities for him, depending on how his body develops and how he develops as a player. So I think that's a great opportunity for him to, grow as a young man and as a football player for the next couple of years, and then have an opportunity to contribute in a really big way and set himself up for a great future. So, big ups to these guys for putting in the work this year to make it happen, because it is no joke when you go into your senior year and you don't really have any offers. It's hard. Look at Casey Fields and what he did just to earn a few offers from a couple lower level D1s and a few D2s. It's hard to get on the radar if you're not there by your senior year, and these guys did a terrific job. They were on the radar certainly, but not making big splashes, and they did a tremendous job of earning these opportunities. And now we look forward to seeing them go and take advantage of them. So speaking of which, we've got a couple other guys who are already at the next level who are looking for maybe a different opportunity or more opportunity or just a change of pace. We talk a lot about the transfer portal, and actually, if you want some perspective on that, especially from the basketball perspective, check out our next episode of Red's Barbershop. We just talked to Jay Billis yesterday, and he gave us some great insight on that. And he's very pro transfer portal, very pro student athlete, which I tend to agree with him. But one of the things we talked about was how it does impact the recruiting game. And we've got a couple of those guys who are looking for a change now, with Irvin Mulligan, who was a star at Whale Branch, one of the best dang high school running backs I've ever seen, just a force of nature, doing great at Wofford, and was one of their top rushers, but looking for a change of pace. He's in the transfer portal. And then Theron Cannon, Thomas Hayward star, who's been at UAB the last couple of years, he is on the move too, and don't know if he's announced yet where he's going, but I actually do know where he's going. He'll be staying in the Sun Belt, coming a little closer to home. I'll give you a little tease there, but he would have been on his third head coach in 3 years. Trent Dilfer coming in. It's kind of a weird situation. People are kind of head scratching about the hire. He's bringing in a lot of his high school staff, and offering a bunch of his kids from his high school. So Theron, just looking for a different situation, and sounds like he's got himself a good one. And I think Irvin will most certainly find himself a spot. I mean, gosh, that guy is a big bull who's got some serious speed. His speed has developed even more since high school. I watched some highlights, and holy cow, he can fly. So I'm looking forward to seeing where these guys land. I think they're going to be big contributors to their new teams.
Yeah, I agree. And, time of year when we're starting to see players find their best fits from the transfer portal, and a couple of Lowco stars, about to find some new homes. Irvin Mulligan, I got to watch some of his highlights earlier today. For Wofford running back, a great career at Whale Branch. hard-nosed, quick runner. And you mentioned that power and just that breakaway speed that we saw during his career with the Terriers. I mean, he is legit. I mean, already getting some offers from UT Martin, Gardner Webb, Charleston Southern, among others. And I think he has potentially even some bigger schools than that. So, really excited to find out where he's headed. But I mean, there's a conversation. I mean, not every fit is the best fit for everybody. It's not a one size fits all approach, and each person has that school that is the best for them. So we'll see what direction he chooses. But I think he's got a lot of great options and a lot of potential for whatever school gets him. Excellent quickness, patience, and vision in the backfield, and that power is really starting to grow the explosiveness of just a dynamite runner who can make some big impacts. So should be a great contributor at running back going forward for somebody. And speaking about someone who's been paving the way for those runners since his day at Thomas Hayward, Farron Cannon looking for a home as well. Really hardworking offensive lineman, and I heard he may already have a decision made from a couple weeks earlier. So we'll keep you in the loop on that. But whoever gets Cannon is going to get a dedicated football player who will be ready to hit the ground running and produce when his name is called. So always a fun time of year to find out where different players are headed. Transfer portal heating up, and great to see these guys get a chance to get that second chance at finding the right fit, because sometimes it just doesn't work out the first time. And it's that next stop that ends up being that perfect landing spot, both athletically and academically. So really excited for both of these two young men, and can't wait to find out where they end up.
Yeah, like I said, Theron will be staying in the Sun Belt, a little closer to home. We'll let him make his big announcement, but that's enough tease for you for now. But you can probably deduce it down to at least a couple of options by that. But we do have that from a good source. So, all right, Wes. Well, let's take a quick break and hear from our sponsors who keep this thing running, and then we'll be back to talk a little wrestling, little golf, and some basketball, and talk with Sean Cusano here on the Lowco Sports Lowdown. All right, Wes, we are back. Thanks so much to our sponsors who make this thing happen and keep my wife from making me get a real job so we can keep doing this every week, buddy. Let's talk a little bit about wrestling season, because we are underway. And we did have some big performances from May River at the Southern Slam, which is one of the biggest events in the Southeast, up at Eastside, which, of course, is the powerhouse wrestling program here in South Carolina. And a couple of guys really did well. Gabe Juarez and Santiago Rueda with really good showings, as well as Isaiah Weissong. And then basically the same guys showing out for the Sharks at the Cane Bay Duels. Weissong was 5-0 at that one. He got a shout out as one of the hammers from the Southern Wrestling Twitter thing. And then Juarez, Rueda, and Echeverria also, I think, went like 4-1. And Mendoza also went 4-1. So Sharks are looking good. They're still figuring out their weights and everything. Hilton Head's looking pretty good too. I know they got wins over Battery Creek and somebody else the other night. They got a couple of nice wins. So Hilton Head's looking good. They're on a crash course. I think Bluffton is starting to come back a little bit, and Battery Creek, I think, will be a factor in 3A too. Buford a little bit down this year, but those Sharks are looking pretty good. I'm looking forward to getting out and seeing them in person soon.
Yeah, back-to-back appearances in the 4A state final, and looking to be a force once again in 2023. And winter sports underway. Got high school basketball in full swing. Lowco Hoops Report already 2 episodes in, so excited to see where basketball takes this year. We've got a bunch of contending teams for state titles, and of course it's wrestling season too. And I think it's going to be a fun winter here on the mat. I mean, these May River Sharks, they're going to be making some noise. Back-to-back lower state champs, as I said. And Gabe Juarez with a really excellent start to the season. He took runner-up honors at the Southern Slam over an East Side. He lost to Zach McKnight in the championship, but I mean, an excellent job for Juarez, a former individual state champ in Class 4A, and then Santiago Rueda, senior, taking 4th place. So, I mean, this is a loaded event. Some of the best wrestlers really in all the Southeast are at this thing, and I think we're going to have a special season, and be on the lookout for a special wrestling roundtable podcast coming up with some of our area coaches. We're going to try to set that up, and we're going to talk all things wrestling here in the Lowco. And Going to be very fun. So definitely want to catch that. But and then of course we got Zeo Estrada has been a huge catalyst for the girls wrestling scene, and Hilton Head now has a full-fledged girls program this year. So
Yep.
I'll definitely talk to Coach Bullware about that. And I'm just so excited to see those girls in action that first full year, which only is going to push them even more to get better. And sure, many more girls have been inspired by what Zayo has done, which is great to see. And I think the future of the sport in the era, with everything that Reverence Wrestling has done, and these many wrestling programs, we've seen May River continue to be dominant at the high school level. Battery Creek certainly continue to be on the rise. Beaufort, a little bit of a down year, but you expect some big things from them in the future. And John Paul II has also had a great program over the years. So good to see all of these rising tides continue to lift here in the wrestling scene. And it's always a great time. I haven't really been much of a wrestling fan but in the years prior, but I'm really starting to enjoy the sport a lot more. And it takes a lot of skill, it takes a lot of grit. It takes a lot of determination to have success in the sport, and you got to have that strong mental attitude. So, and I really enjoyed watching it, and definitely excited to get back out on the mat and watch some this winter.
Yeah, and more programs popping up too. We had Thomas Hayward start a new program last year. Colleton Prep has a relatively young program, and then Bridges Prep started one this season as well. So more and more schools getting on board with it. And then the rise of girls wrestling, I think is going to be huge. It's one of the fastest growing sports at the collegiate level is women's wrestling. So there's a lot of opportunity there, and I think a lot of girls who maybe haven't found their niche in sports are starting to figure out that might be the one for them. My nieces in Kansas are all about it. One of them took it up last year and ended up making it to the state tournament, and now she's ranked in the state going into this season. So it's a cool thing. I love seeing it grow. And as a kid who grew up with wrestling, obviously I'm a big fan. But I love to see people like you get into it, and some of these folks around here who are big sports fans but have maybe never been exposed to that sport. So all right, so lots of wrestling coming, and like you said, we're going to try to set up a full episode with kind of a wrestling round table with some of the coaches, with Blake Maffei from Reverence, and whoever we can pull together to get us caught up and up to speed on everything happening in the Lowco wrestling scene. So let's talk a little golf though, Wes, because the RBC Heritage not too far away. They're selling tickets already, but we're not too far away, and the field is probably going to be better than ever this year because we got the extra purse, guaranteed cash, and then Team RBC getting a little infusion as well. So tell us about the new members that we'll probably be seeing at this year's Heritage.
Yeah, exciting news over from Team RBC. 3 new big name professionals are now RBC ambassadors, and they'll almost certainly all be there for the 2023 RBC Heritage at Harbortown. Sam Burns, Safif Figala, and Cameron Young, a couple of up-and-coming stars on the pro golf circuit. 3 outstanding names added to Team RBC. Figala has really started to make his rise known in the golfing world. 7 top 10 finishes since 2020. California native who ranks just outside the top 30 in strokes gained and putting. So he's excellent on the greens. Definitely someone who we'll be watching heading into April. And we know all about Cameron Young already. What an excellent 2022 season that he had. Named Rookie of the Year on the tour. So well-deserved. So consistent this season. I mean, he flirted with the early lead, if you remember, at the Heritage, and found himself in the mix in a bunch of big-name events this year. So, someone who I think is going to break through it very soon and win one of these events, and maybe it's in April in Harbortown. So excited to see Cameron Young back out on Hilton Island on Harbortown Golf Links. And then Sam Burns, we got to see him over in Congaree. He won the Valspar and the Charles Schwab Challenge along with the Sanderson Farms Championship. So that's 3 wins for Burns across the past PGA Tour season. So he was one of our dark horses to win at Congaree, if you remember. And I got to think he'll be right up there again in a few months at Harbortown. So we've talked about how good a field this is shaping up to be. And it's an elevated event. PGA Tour selected a few PGA Tour tournaments across the schedule to have an increase, a bump up in prize money. So it's only going to increase the field even more. We had that big field in 2020 because it was the second event out of the restart. But I think this one might rival what we saw in that 2020 edition of the tournament. I mean, it should be a loaded crop of big name stars, and I think it's well deserved. I mean, you talk to all these PGA Tour golfers, they'll say Harbour Town is one of their favorite places to play, and it may be the week after the Masters, but at the same time, it's a great opportunity to unwind and a great chance for those up and coming stars to make their presence known and win an event with a lot of prestige at one of the most recognizable courses in the country, Harbour Town Golf Links. So really excited for this edition of Heritage. I think it's going to be the biggest and it might be the best field yet. And what a great group of 3 additions to add on to Team RBC and Sam Burns, Heath Thigala, and Cameron Young. So the anticipation is already building. It may be Christmas time, but we're already getting pumped to be back in Sea Pines in just a few months as Jordan Spieth gets ready to defend his title.
Yeah, so I mean, think about how fast this year went by. Just all y'all, just pause for a second and think about how fast 2022 went by, and then tell me it's not going to be the Heritage in like 2 weeks. Come on, it's going to be here before we know it, and it's going to be awesome. I can't wait. I mean, it's shaping up like it might be one of the best we've ever had, and we've had some phenomenal ones. So I'm with you. I think the tour has recognized that in the current landscape, they have something very unique at Harbour Town that is really breaks the mold and is not the cookie cutters that you see every week, and people respond to that. They like to watch it because it's different. They like to watch it because you have to hit different kinds of shots. It's not just a bomber's golf course, and I think that's kind of come full circle now to the point where it's like such an anomaly that it's become something cool. It's like the hipster golf tournament. I love it. I think it's going to be a great year for the Heritage. But Wes, let's get to your interview. We've been sitting on this thing for a couple of weeks, but the timing worked out great because Sean Cusano over at Hilton Head Prep is off to a phenomenal start this season. That team is looking really good, and he had a monster night last night. 32 points. 13 out of 15 shooting. It was 3 out of 4 from 3, just dominating Woodville Tompkins, a pretty solid public school program from Savannah. Also had 8 boards in that game, no turnovers. I mean, you touch the ball enough to shoot it 15 times and you don't turn it over at all as a big man. That's pretty impressive. So Cusano off to a great start, and you were able to catch up with him. Set us up for this interview with the big man from Hilton Head Prep who's headed to Chattanooga.
Yeah, I mean, Sean Cusano, what a great young man, and who's done so much during his time he already here on the island, transferring over, and just so proud of all of the accomplishments that he's put together on the basketball court, and really great to hear his expertise and his knowledge on the game, because he's a staple student of the game. He really knows how to produce on the court, where to be at the right time, and really has proven that so far in this season, and just a great young man, says all the right things. And I think he's set up for a fantastic college career at Chattanooga. So let's hear from him now here on the Lowco Sports Lowdown. All right, we are now joined by Hilton Head Prep basketball star Sean Cusano. Sean, thanks for coming on here tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we're getting back into basketball season. You guys are getting ready to start up your new 2022-23 campaign, senior year for you. How excited are you to get back on the court and play with your Dolphins here one more year?
It's really exciting. I mean, it's been a nice little couple months break from AAU, but I'm excited to get back into more organized high school basketball.
Well, we made some big news in the offseason just a week or so ago. You signed officially to play your college ball at Chattanooga. How does it feel to get that out of the way and to be officially become a Moc?
It's really good. Just to be able to just know that I know where I'm going, just have that weight of not knowing to be off my shoulders is really nice.
We talked about it a bit on signing day, but just kind of take me through again your process of finding the school that stuck out for you, and what kind of made the difference in the end going to Chattanooga.
Yeah, so it was mainly I had a few schools looking at me. I was still talking to quite a few schools, but I scheduled a visit to Chattanooga, and I just felt like that place was for me. It was just it just felt like a home environment. Everything they were doing, like their facilities, their coaching, the players, it was all great. So I just felt like I didn't need to see anywhere else, and that was the place for me to be.
I mean, for a team that just made the NCAA tournament, that's got to be a nice spot for you, a Division I program, and certainly you've earned it. And just take me through the feeling of being able to play D1 basketball, which I'm sure was a dream growing up.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're good.
So yeah, I mean, it was one of my bigger goals in life was just trying to compete and get to the highest level I can possibly be in college basketball, and just have fun with it and just be there and just compete.
We've known you for a few years, but kind of take me through your career before you got to the Lowcountry, playing over in Virginia, and kind of how you grew your passion for the game over the years, and just take me through the early part of your career here before you moved down to the island.
Yeah, so the part of Virginia I live in, there's not much at all besides like going outside and playing sports. So it's mainly just me always going outside with my older brother and just playing basketball every day, just gaining that competitiveness, playing basketball against my sister, my other brother, just a really competitive family, and just being able to compete every day, and then just always just trying to get better and be better than everyone else. Really, just a competitive family, so really drove my competitive nature.
And what attracted you down here to the Lowcountry, to continue your hoops career with then legendary coach Jerry Faulkner?
It's mainly my dad decided to finally get us out of that area and take a job down here. So and then we met Coach Faulkner and Coach Ferding and just felt like the right decision to make.
Well, you guys had a fantastic junior year for you and for the team in general. It was a great 2021-22 season, making it to the Final Four in skis. I mean, kind of what clicked for you guys down the stretch in that postseason run as you guys picked up some big time wins, and how fun was it to play with a guy like JJ Hayes?
Playing with JJ, it's really fun. He's a really high energy guy, so you're always locked in. You're always motivated to play. And then I think near the end of the season, we just finally started like being able to just find our chemistry. We just started like clicking at the right time. And besides the very last game in the second half, I think we're all like just mentally locked in. We're just clicking at the right time. And just that final half, we just didn't seem to be able to hit a shot. But
And I'm sure you were grateful to be coached by a legendary figure, especially in his last season. Was there anything that he told you, kind of a parting message before he told you guys that he was hanging it up after the season, and kind of just your reflections on him and what he's done to improve your game and strengthen your career prospects?
mm-hmm. The thing that he just said he really loved us and he's sorry that it was just time for him to hang it up, and that he'd always come there and be there for us to support us and everything. And he's taught me the way he improved my game was mainly in Virginia, I was mainly a guard, and he was just him and Coach Freddie were able to just show me like how to play the post properly, and just being able to learn to post up, just making the right reads while in the post. So I mean, it really helped a lot me down here and having him coach me.
Yeah, just following up on that, kind of tell me about how you've evolved as a player. You mentioned starting as a guard before you came down here, and we've certainly always seen you as that forward in the paint. But
Mm-hmm.
kind of explain how your game and how your positions have evolved throughout the years of basketball, and how have you enjoyed moving over to a forward role on this team?
Mm-hmm. So when I was my freshman year, I wasn't the tallest on the team as of now, but I was a little shorter then, so I would play on the wing, and I was more of like just a straight shooter and a little bit of like off the dribble stuff. And then sophomore year, I grew to like 6'7", and I started getting a little bit in the post, not really, and I was still a shooter, and then I was able to create out the dribble because I got taller, a little bit stronger. But now, since coming down to Hilton Head, I was able to get a little bigger, a little stronger. I was able to get more confident in the post, just being able to make the right reads, just being able to finish stronger at the basket. So it's helped improved a lot.
And it's got to be nice to be able to have those stretch forward capabilities of a guy who can go out beyond the arc and shoot it, or make a pass inside, and then be able to drive to the hoop, being that dynamic offensive player. And kind of tell me about how that part of it has evolved in terms of your ability to stretch the defense, whether it's going beyond the arc, or playing the perimeter versus being able to also come in and play your post role well.
Mm-hmm. It opens up not only opens up a lot for me with my scoring options, it also helps me open up a lot more like shots from my teammates, because if I'm on the 3-point line, if my teammate can drive, kick it to me, I can hit the shot, or if I can just get in the post, I can make a read. If I'm my teammate, hit him for an open shot, or if I'm up on the wing, I can go and make a drive and kick out to them. So, I mean, it just opened up my game a whole lot more, just to, like, not only scoring, but also to be able to create for my team.
Well, new head coach this year for you guys. Tell me about how you think your offense is going to maybe look a little differently this year compared to what we've seen in the past, and kind of how's practice been going so far for this group of guys?
So the offense stuff, I think it's a little more like years past with Coach Faulkner. It's been a little more like on ball stuff where you kind of make the decision yourself. But this year, it's more the scoring will probably come off more off ball and just more like not having the ball and making a decision. It's just you coming off a screen, reading that screen, and then making this decision. And then I'm sorry, what was your second question?
Just take me through how practice has been going and how you've been
Mm-hmm.
able to click with some of your teammates.
So I think just being able to click with my teammates, I think being there, this being our second year together, I think we have great chemistry right now, and it's making it a little easier for us during the practices to try to figure out this new offense because we know our strengths and each other's weaknesses. So, I mean, that's been able to help us through practice, and practice has been, I mean, there's been some rough days just trying to get through the offense, but I think this is a very good offense for us, and I think it's going to work out really well for us.
I'm excited to see how things go because I mean I love for you guys returning back. Andrew Helms has been a nice guard who can shoot it. Rowan is a passer, and then Keynes, who has become a heck of a finisher and a solid shooter as well, and just sees the court well. And he's made so many strides from he was just a spot up guy freshman year, and now he's now become kind of that facilitator of an offense and a guy who could score in the paint. So. Just tell me about how exciting it's been to see him evolve and what he's meant to you and what he's meant to this team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he's going to be a huge part for us this year. I think he's very good to score. He can score whenever he wants. And then he's growing a part of his game and like passing. Like he can get a bucket when he wants, but he can definitely, if he's not there, he can definitely create for someone. And I think also another key point that he's improved over the summer is his defense. He's actually become a very good defender. He can lock up a guard whenever he wants now.
Yeah, it's enormous when you have that ability to play that lockdown defense and force some turnovers and force some tough shots. That's huge. So really excited to see what Kane and this entire team will bring to the table here in 2022-23. Tell me more about yourself and what you've done this off season to take your games to the next level. I was able to catch up with you over the summer at 843 Sport and kind of describe what's meant to be able to practice over there and what improvements you've made over the off season.
Yeah, no, having 843, it's very nice. Just because sometimes sometimes at our gym you're not allowed to get in, so just having that option just to be able to get in another gym it's really nice. And also having Coach Luke Roddy over there helping me out, teaching me some new moves, teaching me some different looks is very helpful. But some of the improvements I made this offseason was just my passing, like just being able to thread the needle and make a tough pass when I need to. And then also just being in the weight room and just getting stronger, putting on a little more weight and just not being as easily moved.
You mentioned playing some AAU ball. What has that done to help improve your potential and your skills on the court and the friendships that you made through it? So just tell me more about the AAU team you play for and how that went this summer.
Yeah, the AAU team I played for was the Atlanta Timberwolves. And, I mean, it was fun playing with those guys. I think two of my teammates were 2024, and they all have D1 offers. And then I had my other big man who was from Lithuania. He just committed to UNC Greensboro. So, I mean, it was just amazing being able to play over there with that much talent, just being able to learn from just being able to pick their brains, see what they do, see what the moves what they do, see what they see, and just be able to talk to them. And just being able to play like that type of high level competition with like playing sponsored AAU teams such as like Atlanta Express and Team Huncho. I mean, it was a great experience. I got to play a lot of like high level competition.
Yeah, and I think part of it is just being a sponge and absorbing the information from your teammates and even from your opponents when you watch the way they play. Just tell me about how much of this game and how much of this work is being able to just take in that knowledge from those teammates and use that to kind of pinpoint some areas to improve upon.
I mean, it's a huge part. I think, you can learn as if you can learn as much as you see in the game, I think just being able to learn and just being able to take criticism is a huge part of just being able to grow your game, because you can't be coached and you're just going to always hold yourself back. You just have to be able to be coached and see what the coach is saying to you and try to implement it to your game. Or if what a player sees, try to see what he sees that you're not seeing, and it can also help improve your game.
Going into your senior year, JJ Hayes lost to graduation, so you're going to be a big time leader of this team. Tell me about how excited you are to kind of embrace that role, and how kind of we could see it differently this time around, having more of that leadership role without JJ. Tell me that how might that help you kind of improve as a facilitator, and kind of be that voice in the locker room, or on the bench, or in the huddle, to try to push your guys going.
I think it will really just help me improve my game more, just becoming more of a leader, more of a floor general. I think that me being in that position, I think I can make good decisions out of what we run. I usually can just be able to just push everyone to be better than what they already are. I just think I'll just be able to encourage everyone to just be better every day and just try to compete at a high level every day.
You guys will be playing a little different alignment compared to last year. Skiza adding a Class 4A, so you guys will be in Class 3A. A couple of those top teams are moving up, so just tell me about your thoughts about the schedule, and how excited you are to go up against this competition. I think the draw really works out well for you guys as you look to begin the new season.
I think we have a good chance of making a run this year. I think there's some teams that are coming up. They're pretty legit, such as Shannon Forest. They're always really good. But I feel like, I feel like we're a very solid team and can give them a run for their money. And I think we should have a pretty strong year.
You mentioned we talked about some guys like Kane Eanes and Andrew Helms, but tell me about some of the other guys, maybe bench players, and kind of maybe a breakout star too that we may not have talked about, that could make a huge impact here in 2022-23 on Hilton Head Prep.
Mm-hmm. I think there's a couple kids on our team that I think can really make a big impact on our team this year. Is one Ben Frey. He's put on a lot of weight, a lot of muscle, so he's gotten a lot stronger. He's a very good decision maker. He's been in the gym. He's been getting his shots in. So, I think he'll be a major part of our team. Another kid is Jason Britschke. He's like 6'5" now. He's been in the weight room, getting stronger. He's just he can get a lot of rebounds, play the post defense very well. So he'd be a big key. And then a couple kids off the bench for us that I think will help us a lot is AJ Barger, Connor Campbell, and probably Lonsell Daly. I think those kids just bring, I think AJ brings a good defensive factor. Connor can bring a good point guard factor, which is just a creating ability. And he's a very good defender. He's a very big hustler. And the same with Lonsell Daly. I think he's a great defender in the post, and I think he's a great rebounder. So I think we have a very solid team coming through.
Yeah, and I like the potential of a bunch of those other guys, especially athletes that came over here from playing football, who have shown their ability to hustle out there and make plays. And we always talk about, you don't always have to fill the box score in order to be an impactful player. It's all about making those hustle plays and being at the right spot at the right time, and just displaying the extra effort on the court. And I think those guys are going to be really up to the challenge, and just love the way this team has melded together these last few years. And I think everybody's ready to get back out there, and it could be a big year for this Hilton Head Prep squad. Just kind of tell me about how the chemistry is starting to build, and how you guys are looking ahead into the season, and when you guys tip off.
So practice is we talk a lot. We have to, our new coach, he wants us to talk a lot. So everything we do, we got to talk. We just got to be communicating the whole time. And I think that's helped us build some chemistry, just being able to talk, see where we're going, know where we're going, and just being able to build off that, and just being able to build that chemistry through practice and just talking.
Sorry. Here. Yeah, I'm excited about the potential of this team, as I said, and I think you guys have been doing things the right way. I think you're going to provide a great sense of leadership for some of these younger players, and I love the talent. Some of the guys you mentioned, but also like Richie and Ben Fry and some of those guys who come off the bench and give you some quality minutes, make some shots, and provide that strong defense. And tell me, in your eyes, and you've played basketball for a while now, how important is it to display that strong defensive effort, possession in, possession out, to make some stops? Because I really think the game of basketball, it starts on the defensive end of the floor, and if you can put in that hustle and that effort, you're gonna get some opportunities in transition. A lot of times, that defense goes right into your offensive success.
Yeah, I think our key. I think some of our downfall last year was like we could score anytime we wanted. It's just sometimes defensively we just didn't really like lock in. But I think this year, I think we're all bought in on defense. I think we want to make a stop before we score. So I think this year defensively, I think we're really locked in. And probably the past couple of years, I think it's probably the most locked in we've been defensively, and just wanting to get stops, not wanting to let anyone score on us.
How great has it been to be a part of the Lowcountry community and just describe? I mean, you've played a couple of different teams around here now, and just describe your thoughts on the basketball scene, the Lowco, and how it's grown and how it's challenged you.
Yeah, it's the Lowco's it's pretty legit. I mean, there's some pretty good players down here. I was pretty surprised how many good players there is. It's very nice, like being able to play like a Christian academy and just be able to play against their players, be able to compete against them. It was nice being able to play Buford Academy. Those were good games. We got some good players over there. And I mean, there's a pretty talented group of kids down here.
One last ride here before you head off to the college ranks. How excited are you to get going and play out your senior year? And what are your goals, both individually and as a team?
I think an individual goal, I don't really have any. I think this year I think I'm just all for the team goals. It's just winning region again, winning state this year. I think that's my only goals. I don't really need any individual this year. I just want to get all the team stuff.
That's the right mentality you have as a senior. I mean, when you're the leader of a squad like that, I mean, it's team first, and it's all about displaying that team first mentality and making the right pass and putting the team before yourself, and you're gonna do a great job with that, and you're gonna do the same thing with that as you get ready to play at the next level. And we're really excited for you. I think Chattanooga is a fantastic fit as you continue your career. So just so excited for you, Sean, and it's gonna be a pleasure to watch you ball at Hilton Head Prep for one more year, and then take your talents over to Chattanooga.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm really excited to get over there, finish up this final year and get over there.
Hey, Lowco sports fans. This podcast and all of our grassroots local sports content are made possible by support from community sponsors, including Mickelson Law Firm, the official real estate attorneys of Lowco Sports, and the presenting sponsor of our Hilton Head Christian Academy coverage. Our original sponsors are still among our greatest supporters. Ryan and Tiffany Mickelson are community pillars who will be in your corner no matter your legal needs. When you need legal representation, call on the attorneys who support Team Lowco. Call Mickelson Law Firm. Hospice Care of the Lowcountry, the official hospice provider of Lowco Sports, and the only not-for-profit hospice in southern Beaufort County. For more than 30 years, the committed, compassionate staff at Hospice Care of the Lowcountry have been there to ensure your loved ones find comfort, honor, and dignity at the end of life. Because at Hospice Care of the Lowcountry, it's not about dying, it's about living. Homegrown Home Inspections, the official home inspectors of Lowco Sports. Jan Lucas and his team provide thorough, detailed home inspections aimed to ensure everyone goes into the transaction with open eyes and confidence. Jan would rather reveal an inconvenient truth than look the other way and provide reassurances that could come back to burn the buyer in the long run. If you're looking to buy or sell a home and need an honest, reliable inspector, call on Homegrown Home Inspections, official sponsors of Lowco Sports. Star Home Services, official residential cleaning service of Lowco Sports. When you just don't want to clean the house, call on Carla and her amazing team to do the dirty work. They'll get in and out in a flash and leave your house looking spotless, all at a price that fits your budget. The next time your space is a mess, call on Star Home Services, official residential cleaning service of Lowco Sports. DDS Web Design, official SEO experts of Lowco Sports. If your business or organization has a website and you're trying to figure out what SEO is, you need to call on Denise and Dave Sinkovich at DDS Web Design. They'll provide a free consultation and do all the behind-the-scenes work to boost your search engine optimization and get your website found online so you can take your business to the next level. DDS Web Design, official SEO experts of Lowco Sports. American Wood Reface, sustaining sponsors of Lowco Sports. Does your kitchen need a facelift? Before you start picking out new cabinets, give Ben and the team at American Wood Reface a shot. They can reface your existing cabinets to overhaul your aesthetic without the hefty price tag and reimagine your kitchen at a price point you can manage. Be sure to tell them Lowco sent you because every referral helps support Lowco Sports. 4M Metals, sustaining sponsor of Lowco Sports. Got metal? Your roof might need it. Metal roofing advantages include better energy efficiency, weather protection, longevity, a more aesthetically pleasing design, and the product is all green. So if you've been thinking about a new roof, go metal. Let 4M Metals be the difference in your roof. Jay's Barbershop. It's the talk of the town and the place to be in Ridgeland. If you need your ears lowered, head over to Jay's for a fresh cut and great conversation with good folks. And tell them Lowco sent you. Local Pie, official pizza sponsor of Lowco Sports. They sling some of the best pies in the Lowco, and my kids say the mac and cheese is the best around. Hungry? Hit up Local Pie, longtime supporter of Lowco Sports. Hilton Head Prep is a sustaining sponsor of Lowco Sports, and we tell you all about the Dolphins' athletic exploits. But did you know it's also the #1 ranked private K-12 school in Beaufort County and ranks in the top 2.5% of schools nationwide? Visit hhprep.org to see what Hilton Head Prep has to offer. Beaufort Academy is a sustaining sponsor of Lowco Sports, and we love covering the Eagles. With a student-to-faculty ratio of 7-1 and an average class size of 14 students, Beaufort Academy could be just the educational solution you're looking for, with more one-on-one attention. BA has a strong history of working with the whole child to prepare each student for college and life. Check them out at BeaufortAcademy.org. Thank you to all of our sustaining and supporting sponsors for their support of LowcoSports.com. Go Lowco.
All right, great stuff, Wes. Great job with Sean. He is, like you said, just a really impressive young man. Great head on his shoulders. He has navigated this whole recruiting thing, just as smoothly as can be. And every time we talk to him, he seems to be really locked in, focused, and have a great perspective on things. So, I think he's going to continue to develop. I mean, we've seen him just in a couple of years here really develop his game and become a really all-around complete player, and I think he's going to really flourish at the next level. And if he gets to Chattanooga and that's not a good fit for him, we got that transfer portal. He'll find a home, because when you can play like that guy can, you're going to find a system that works for you. But certainly it's a great situation at Chattanooga, and I would expect him to be there for the long haul and be a big part of what they're trying to do. So great stuff from him.
Yeah, I think it's a great fit for Cusano. And man, he has been an absolute terror. You mentioned what he just did against Woodville Tompkins, a monster rebounder, and has really started to become that all-around leader on this team who can step up and deliver anywhere on the court. And, talk about an efficient night on the floor. I mean, you talked about what he did, 13 to 15 shooting and 0 turnovers. I mean, that might be the most impressive stat of all right there, being able to have that kind of success without turning the ball over and being able to hold on to the basketball and make good decisions with it. I mean, that's Cusano right there in the nutshell. A really efficient player who will have that team first mentality while taking advantage of scoring opportunities when he sees it. So, this team, I think has the chemistry to really start to grow and be a big factor here. And, with Helms and Fry in the system now for the second straight year, Andrew Helms and Ben Fry, they become more confident players. Kane Eames, I mean, I remember he was just a spot-up shooter from deep, but he's now such a dynamic piece on offense, and a great hustle player as well. And then Cusano is such a dynamite defender with elite offensive traits as well. They have great depth. They have interchangeable parts. I mean, with Jason Britchie, so many others who've been able. Connor Campbell, who's really taking the ball now up the court as a point guard, and the vision that he's shown to lead this offense has been huge. So I love the makings of this team, and I think this Dolphins group has a chance, if they can put it together and really start clicking down the stretch. I think they could go all the way this year in SCISA 3A and compete for a state championship.
I do too, and I watched a little bit of the Woodville Tompkins game, just scrubbing for highlights, and I was really impressed with their team defense. I mean, they were really good at not letting the dribble penetration beat them. Woodville had some really good little guards that were quick and could get into the lane, but man, it closed up and there was nothing there. And so, I'm really impressed with that team defense. I think that coaching staff's done a tremendous job. You never know, with a coaching transition. Jerry Faulkner, obviously a legend, but it looks like it's been a smooth transition, and the system is working just great. So I think that's going to be a fun team to watch. I look forward to getting to see them in person after the holidays. But speaking of that, let's get to our teams of the week, Wes. We've got some great candidates, so I'll give you the first crack at it. Who are your teams of the week this week?
For my team of the week, I'm going to head over to Colleton County and pick the Cougar boys basketball team. I mean, this is a group that we really love to cover, and I think it's all starting to come together now for this team. They're off to a 6-3 start. They picked up 2 straight wins over North Charleston, Battery Creek. The host Beaufort tonight on Friday. That should be a terrific game. But this Cougars team, they're starting to find an excellent shooter in Brian Hamilton, really athletic guard in Mikeem Gant. Javarius Doctor has been a nice spark plug, and then Nick Williams is having a nice year at forward, leading the team in scoring with over 12 points per game. So I really love what Dominic Kahee is doing with this group. Lots of weapons on offense. They like to run and get down the court quickly. And it's going to be tough to hold down this team once we get into region play. And I expect this Cougar squad to be competitive in what should be a tough, grinding schedule in Region 7-4A this year.
Yeah, that's a great pick, and I'm actually going up there, or planning to, assuming nothing derails my plans, heading up to Walterboro tonight to check that team out because they've been off to a great start. We need to go give them some love, and so I'm glad you showed them some love today because, like you said, Matt Mullins did a really good job with that program for a long time, and now he hands it off, and it looks like again, like Hilton Head Prep, great transition so far. They've hit the ground running, and they have a ton of talent and varied talent. They can beat you different ways. They can hit the outside shot. They can bruise inside. They can slash the basket. So I'm looking forward to seeing that matchup with a Beaufort team that is, on its way back to full strength as the football guys get back in shape and get start to gel together. But looking forward to seeing that game tonight. And I was trying to balance it out with a girls team, but I couldn't get away from this team I'm going to go with, which is the Hilton Head Christian Academy boys. They had a heck of a week, a heck of a couple of weeks. They had a nice win over Savannah Christian, a big win over Hilton Head High. That's always a big time one when they can knock off the Seahawks. And then they went down on the road and beat a good Frederica team, and then came back home and made quick work of Bullock Academy. So they've now actually won 6 in a row. This is a team that really struggled last year. They were kind of out of sorts, and this year is a totally different story. They've got so much depth, and we talked about it on the Hoops Report this week, which will be coming out here in the coming days. But they've got so much more depth than they had a year ago, and like a guy like Brady Bagenstos, who was having to play a bigger role than he should have been asked to play last year. He's kind of just a role player now, like he should be. And he's a nice role player. Don't get me wrong, but you can't ask a guy to be a star if that's not what he is. You got Caden Turner, you got Isaiah Anderson, who are both big, physical wings. And then you bring in Dorian Javier, who's the little pass first point guard, and Harry Skinner, who can shoot it from freaking Jasper County. And then you got Wells Sharp, who is, a sneaky, incredible athlete. And then you throw Elijah White into the mix. And I think he's kind of the X factor because he's the guy who can be on the ball. He can also work off the ball. He's an explosive athlete, good ball handler, great defender. And I think he's kind of pulled it all together, with Caden on the wing and Isaiah kind of on the block. He's kind of been the glue. And I see this team really becoming a factor. I don't think they're quite on Hilton Head Prep's level yet, but I think that by the time they play the second time, you're going to want to have a ticket because it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, I'm already marking my calendar. January 20th, that will be at Hilton Head Christian Academy, and then they'll have a rematch at Prep on February 10th. And that second game, you're right. I think we could be in for a real fun one between these two rivals, and that's what you want to see. I mean, Jason Gruckmeyer's done a fantastic job. And you never root for an early exit from football season, but you got to think. I mean, they got 2 extra weeks because
unless you're a basketball coach.
Sorry.
I said unless you're a basketball coach.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I'm sure basketball coach would love to have them 2 weeks early like they did this year, but yeah, no, I mean, definitely kind of helps sometimes when you get that time to set things straight and get ready for the season. But even so, this group looks a lot different and a lot more locked in from what we saw last season. And give credit to those leaders like Isaiah Anderson, Caden Turner for taking their game to the next level. But you're right in your analysis that. I think that Elijah White has been the spark plug. I was able to go to the Hilton Head Christian Academy game against the Seahawks, Hilton Head Seahawks, and White was really the impact maker down the stretch. He made a couple big shots late in that ball game, and they really looked determined and confident out there on the offensive end. And just loved the way they attacked the basket, passed the ball, and I mean, they showed a lot in overcoming a tough stretch because they had a 10-point lead at halftime. Hilton Head came all the way back to go up at the end of the third quarter, but Christian Academy hung in there and were able to get some stops and got hot late on the offensive side. Some great passing, great ball handling. I really like how this team has really come together this year. And they're deep. They got some guys up and coming as well who I think are going to be big impact makers. I mean, Brady Bagginsto's great senior leadership from him as well. Well Sharp, a fantastic hustle player. I mean, those are the kind of pieces you need to build together a winning basketball team, and I think they have it here. So I'm very excited for what this team could do here. I do think Hilton Head Prep is still the class of that region, but I think the gap is narrowing between these two squads, and we could be in for a couple of outstanding rivalry games between Dolphins and Eagles down the stretch here in 2023.
I think you nailed it right there. And I also like Micaiah Hamilton coming off the bench for Christian Academy. He's a little undersized, but he's smooth, man. He's good defender and he's quick. So there's some teams that I'm excited to watch develop after the holidays for sure. I've seen enough to get excited a little bit. I think that Ridgeland boys team is kind of dangerous. I'm excited to see the Bluffton boys. There's a lot of athleticism and talent there. I want to see how they work together this year. So, and then of course we have some dominant girls teams with Hilton Head Christian. Bluffton is going to be really good. Maddie Washington makes her return tonight. You'll be over there. So, we're going to have a great basketball season. Looking forward to a few days of downtime myself personally, but then getting back in it and covering them to the finish and hopefully cover some state championships this year. But that's just about going to do it, Wes. But one last thing before we sign off, and that's just to say happy trails and many thanks to our friend Andrew Goldstein from WSAV. Tonight, Friday, is his last sportscast for WSAV. He's headed back up to Wisconsin, back up to Milwaukee, to his alma mater at Marquette to continue his studies and work in marketing up there. So, best wishes to him. He's been a tremendous advocate for the student athletes and teams, just as we think we are, and he's been a great partner of ours in really collaborating to help one another give the best coverage we can give and really do justice to these teams and athletes. So many thanks to him. I hope I'm very grateful that our paths crossed, and I hope that we can stay in touch and maybe work together somewhere down the road. What a great dude. Yeah,
I mean, it's been a pleasure to know Andrew over these past few years as a colleague, covering sports here in the Lowcountry, and what a passionate young man who has brought so much energy and enthusiasm to everything he's done here in Savannah and then here in the Lowcountry. And I think what really stood out to him for me was just his excitement and love for the area and his passion for these student athletes. And I really enjoyed the opportunity to call a football game with him and hear how he approaches broadcasting and hosting. And I learned so much from that experience that I will take with me towards my career in the future. So, I mean, he's just so good at what he does and just so blessed and honored to have that friendship and to, continue following him and what is a very bright career ahead. So thank you for everything, Andrew. Fantastic job at WSAV, and so excited for what the next chapter holds at Marquette.
Absolutely. That says it very well. So Thank you, Andrew. Thank you to Sean Cusano for making time for an interview. Thanks to all of our sponsors who make this possible. And most of all, thanks to you for showing up to listen or watch every week so we can keep doing it. That's going to do it for this episode of the Lowco Sports Lowdown. We'll be back to do it again very soon. Not sure exactly what our recording schedule will be like for the holidays yet, but make sure you subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and make sure you check out lowcosports.com online and on social media so you never miss an episode. That does it for this episode. For Wes Kerr, I'm Justin Jarrett. Until next time, go Lowco.